This is a poem called Robert, and I've never read any of these really before, but I have to precede this poem by doing this, because more than 30 years ago, I couldn't tell you exactly what year, but more than 30 years ago, I lived in a really grotty bedsit in Dublin, in a house full of bedsits and mice, lots of mice. And in one of the other flats on the ground floor, damp flats, damp bedsits, there was a young man of about my age, a little bit younger than me, whose name was Robert. I never knew his real surname, but I knew his pen name, which is irrelevant for this confession, if that's what it is. And he also wrote poems. And he wrote, I thought, terrible poems. That's very difficult, isn't it? He was a really nice guy. He was a nicer guy than I was. I mean, I kind of knew that. I was a bit of a wheeler dealer. He was the genuine thing. But he wasn't genuinely good. He was genuinely not good. And I couldn't pretend to myself that he was. And he haunts me. He committed suicide maybe 2 years after I moved out of that place. And he has haunted me for 25 years, I think, afterwards. And that 3 knocks was the sound of him coming to the door. Because already he knew something wasn't working for him. And we had these conversations about life and poetry, etc., where so much couldn't be said. So the 3 knocks is what animates the poem. Robert. When I heard he was dead, my once neighbour and friend Robert found, so they said, no, not drowned, as I'd guessed more than once he had gone to the shore on his own late at night, but instead, in the press, a wardrobe. With his belt round his neck, I was back in my room next to his in that damp, grimy house where we lived long ago, would-be scribes side by side, and he'd knock now and then on the pretext or need of some milk or a pen, to stand then in the door, that warm smile and a half cigarette on his lips, saying this, did he say it back then? He for sure says it now. Thanks I owe you, we poets must stay each for each, must look out for each other, be twice what we are on our own, to be whole in just words and short lines, in small rooms just like this, though no joke all we have to survive.